Welcome, and we are on to project number 2 in the holiday Thready box number 4. Okay, so we did the last one, which was the spooky door hanger. And now we are moving on to the little thankful pumpkin pillow. This is going to be so much fun, and it'd be such a fun little decoration to have around your house during the fall. Okay, so we're going to go over first what is in your kit. We have lots of stuff in your kit today. Okay, we have, first off, is your background fabric. You have a large piece of cream colored background. This is what we're going to put that pumpkin onto. To go on the back of that, we have what's called a fusible backing. This is kind of funny feeling. So when you open this up, you're going to look at it and you're going to notice that one side has some shiny stuff on it and one side is just smooth and white. First thing you're going to do is you're going to be ironing that onto the back. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Next in your kit, you have your border fabric. Look, this is border and backing. How cute is that with all the orange, yellow, brown fall leaves and red? Okay, you'll have a piece of batting. This is what goes on the back of the pillow in between, and it makes your pillow kind of fluffy. So you add that on, you sew around a little bit, and it makes it kind of fluffy. Okay, you also have 4 pieces, 2 orange, a brown, and a green. That is for your pumpkin. So that's what we're going to use for your pumpkin. And you have 2 pieces of heat and bond. Now we talked about heat and bond in our last Thready box when we did those words on our little door hanger, and we're going to do the same thing here with your pumpkin. Okay, so let's get started. First thing you're going to do is in your instructions, it tells you how to trim up your background. So this background and your fusible backing is both going to be cut into a 6.5 by 6.5 inch square. I've already done that. So we are already here with it all cut out. And we are going to take that and take our fusible backing. It's kind of a stabilizer. What it does is it just makes your fabric a little bit easier to work with, a little stiffer, a little thicker. So you'll take the shiny side and you'll put it to the back side of your background, and we're going to take that over to the iron and we're going to press it. Once again, this has a glue in it, and the iron is going to heat that glue up, and when that glue gets really hot, that's what makes it stick to our fabric. So you want to make sure you get all 4 corners really good. We don't want any of that coming up. Okay, we have that all ready to go. Sometimes I like to just press on the top too to make sure that it's got all of it on there. And we're going to take that back over here and we are going to set that to the side. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to trace all of our pieces. You're going to take your pattern. You don't even have to cut anything out. You're just going to take your pattern. You're going to lay it right on top, and you are going to trace right on that line. Okay, you don't even have to rough cut on these because you'll just lay this, or this main one, don't rough cut. You'll just take that and you're going to lay it right onto the back of your orange fabric, and you're going to press that. Take it back over, just like we did previously with heat and bond. We'll just press it right onto that fabric. Make sure it gets the glue nice and hot. And then we'll take that back over and we're going to cut that out. I've already done that for you. So here is your pumpkin, and it is already cut out. Okay, that'll lay, when we get to that point, we'll lay it right on there. Now we want to do our stem, our leaves, and the center of our pumpkin. So those we are going to rough cut out, okay? So just go right about 1/4 of an inch around here. This is the center of your pumpkin. You can go right around there. And these are your 2 leaves, which are going to be on the green. We'll cut those out. Don't have to be real fussy on this. We're going to throw those pieces away. And I am going to take my fabric. Here's my green. That's going to be where my leaves are going to go. I'm going to press that on. Here's my brown. That's going to be my stem. And the center of my pumpkin's going to go here. I'm going to take these all over to the iron those on. Just like we did with the main piece of pumpkin, we're just going to iron those right onto the fabric. Make sure they stick really good. And then we'll bring them right back over here and we're going to cut them out, okay? Very easy. Just go right around and cut right on that line. That's our stem. These are our 2 leaves. And here is the center of our pumpkin. We're going to cut that guy out. Okay, when I'm cutting that out, I can feel right here that that did not glue. If you look, see where that's coming apart? I'm going to take that back to the iron and I'm just going to touch it real quick with the iron because I don't want that coming undone. I want the glue on the fabric. Okay, bring it back over here and we are ready. Now we are going to peel the paper off the back. Sometimes this is hard to do. Sometimes that paper doesn't want to come off. I'm going to give you a little trick. So this is an easy way to get that paper off. You take a pin, any straight pin, you just push it right across there. You can see that it kind of tore the paper. It doesn't go into your fabric and it makes it so much easier than sitting there trying to fight to take that off. We'll do that on our pumpkin. Right across the back. Do it one more time. It didn't go quite through. There we go. Open it right up. Peel that paper right off. It just makes it so much easier than sitting there trying to peel from the edge all the time. Okay. There's our stem and we will get our leaves and we will be ready to go. This is the fun part. I always like doing this. I love doing this kind of applique. Paper likes to stick to you. See if we're going to be able to get it off. There we go. That one came right off. The littler pieces are a little bit easier. And that one. Okay, that one didn't glue. We're going to hit it with the iron really quick. Make sure it gets some glue on it. Okay. There we go. Throw away all my extra papers. You don't need those around. And now we're ready to put the pillow front together. Okay, so you're going to take your piece that you have ironed that fusible backing onto. You're going to take your pumpkin and you're going to put it right in the middle. Okay, then you're going to take this part of your pumpkin, that center. You're going to put that right on there. I like to put the stem underneath. Put my 2 leaves on. Now, when this is all done and you're ready to put everything together, we have given you a really cute little black button to put in here. So in your little package you have, let me see if I can get it out of here. These little packages are kind of tough to open up sometimes. So in this package is a little black button, and it will be sewn or glued, however you prefer to do it, right in between the little leaves here. Okay? So right now we're just going to put our pumpkin together with the iron. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's nice and centered, that you have a finger space above, at least a finger on each side and a finger down here. That way you'll have your 1/4 inch allowance when you put it together. We're going to take this whole piece over to the iron and we're going to iron that down. Okay, just put the iron right on top. Nice and hot. Have an adult help you with this part if you need to. And that is on there good. Okay, bring that back over here. And the next thing we are going to do is our borders. Okay, so you have been given border and back fabric. We are going to cut that. So you are going to take your fabric here, and the first thing you're going to cut is your 2 back pieces. We've already cut ours, but you need them 5.5 by 8.5. So if I put this on my little mat here, I've already cut mine 5.5 by 8.5. That's a little bit more than 8.5. I need to cut that down. And let's see about this one. That one is a little bit more, so we're going to cut that down just a little bit. I am going to take my ruler and make sure that we get it at right at 8.5. Here we go. We had it almost an inch too big. Look at that. Gonna make my line right there. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut that off. I don't want it quite that big. So this is the back of my pillow. There we go. So that is 5.5 by 8.5. Then I'm going to cut my borders. Your borders are going to be 1.5 by 6.5. You'll cut 2 of those. 1.5 by 6.5, and you'll cut 2 1.5 by 8.5. Okay, so we are ready to put our borders on. So we are going to take this. We are going to lay the 2 side borders on first, and I like to pin these in place. We don't want those slipping. You're going to do both sides, and we're going to then take it over to the machine and sew those on. Let's get that one laid right in place. Okay, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this. So I'm taking it over to my machine. Put it right on the 1/4 inch mark. Okay. I'm going to lock my stitch at the beginning and the end. We don't want that coming undone. Okay, and we'll do the other side. Always remove your pins before you sew them. We don't want your machine needle to drive over the pins. It will break your needle. Okay, then we're going to take it over to our iron and we're going to press those out. So these are our 2 side borders. push them down with our hands, and we're just going to take our iron and press. Don't want to iron it. You don't want to push back and forth because you don't want to stretch that fabric. You just want to press it up and down. Okay, and then we're going to go and put our top and bottom borders on. Let me grab my pins, go back over here, and we're going to put the top and bottom on. We've already cut them 1.5 by 8.5. Pin those in place and do the same thing as you did with your short ones. Okay. There we go. Let's take it over to the machine and sew those on. Make sure we're right on the 1/4 inch. One side done, and let's get the other one done. Okay, take that back to the iron, and we'll open that up just like we did those sides. Using our hands, we fold it up nicely. Use our iron to press it. Okay, we are ready. Now we are ready to put the batting in that's going to make our pillow fluffy. Kind of have a little bit of texture to it. So you take your piece of batting, you lay it down, you take this guy and you lay it right on top, and you can quilt it however you would like. Some people just do little stripes. Some people go all over. I'm going to show you. We're just going to do a simple go around our pumpkin. Make sure you pin it in place so it holds it. That way it doesn't slip around. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right along the edge here and just stitch a straight stitch. That's just going to hold my batting to the front of my pillow. I'm going right on the edge of that border. Move my pin out of the way. Now when I stop, I want to make sure my needle stays down in my fabric before I turn it. If your needle's up and you go to turn it, your fabric will slip right out of there. So every time you stop, always make sure that your needle stays down in the fabric. Okay. Okay, we're going to lock our stitch right there, and we are done with that part. Another fun type of stitching you can do is decorative stitching around your pumpkin. You can use just a straight stitch. You can use a blanket stitch, a zigzag. We used a zigzag on our letters on our last project, so we're just going to use a zigzag and go around this pumpkin. We'll start up here, right where the leaf is, so we don't have to go on the leaf. And we're just going to go all the way around the pumpkin. That holds your pumpkin onto the fabric, and it makes it kind of look fun. Just a little bit of a decorative stitch. And we just move our pumpkin. We turn our pillow top around as we go. If you need to, you can stop and move it. You can go around the leaves and the stem if you want, or you can just leave them as they are. It adds just a little bit more definition to your pillow. And you're going to stop. I like to lock it right there. Okay, that just adds a little bit more to your pumpkin. You could even take and go up on the sides where your two pieces, the inside of your pumpkin meets the outside. Gives a little more definition to it. Look at that, what a cute pumpkin. Oh my gosh, how fun. Use your imagination here. You have all kinds of fun decorative stitches on your machine. Play with them. Do all kinds of fun stuff right here. Okay, now we are ready to move to the next step. Okay, we are done with that. Now we are going to make the back of your pillow. You have cut both of your pieces. They were cut 5.5 by 8.5. You're going to take them over to the iron and you're going to press in one side on each piece, one of the long sides. So let's go over here. So this is just making a little seam so it does not come, your fabric doesn't come undone. So I just folded in 1/4 inch once, just like that. You're going to fold it in one more time. And then you'll stitch that down, okay? So we'll do that on the long side of both pieces of your back that you have cut 5.5 by 8.5. We'll do it one more time. And then I'm going to take those over to the sewing machine. If you need to use pins or clips to hold that, that's perfect. Otherwise, you can just take it over to your machine. You're going to put that in and you're going to sew right on that where you just pressed it. And we are going to lock it right here. And then we're just going to sew right down just a little bit less than 1/4 inch so we make sure we catch that back. And you'll do that on both of those. Okay, now we're going to bring those over. This is a part that you really need to pay attention to. Okay, first what you want to do is, your batting was a little too big around the edge. We need to make sure we trim that off first. So you're going to take a nice pair of scissors. Do not cut your border, just cut the excess batting off all the way around. Being very careful not to cut your fabric. Okay, I'm going to throw these away. Move this out of the way. Okay, so you have your front facing up. Then you are going to lay your back right on top of it, making sure that the seam that you sewed is right down the middle. And then you're going to do the same thing. Take this one and lay it right on top, making sure your outsides match. And if you notice, it overlaps in the middle. You want it to overlap. Okay, then I'm going to take some pins and I'm going to pin all the way around. Definitely pin my corners nicely. And another really important place to pin, other than the corners, is right here where this flap. If you don't pin this, sometimes your machine will catch on that and it'll push it. So you want to take a pin and put it right in here. So that is closed, and on the other side. And it is closed. Now we're going to go back to our machine and we are going to sew all the way around. You don't have to leave an opening for turning on this one because you have your flap that's your opening. So let's just take this back and go all the way around. When you get to those corners, make sure your needle stays in. Lift up your foot, turn it, put the foot back down, and go. Come right back to the place that I started. I'm going to lock that, and I am ready to turn it. Okay, when I bring it over here, before I turn it, I want to clip my corners. That's going to make it easier to turn and poke the corners out. You do not want to cut your stitching, so do this very carefully. I like to put my thumb over my stitches, so that way I just can't cut those stitches, okay? On every corner, I put my thumb over the stitches, and then I cut on the outside of that way. That way I know I'm not going to accidentally cut through what I have just sewn. Do all four. I reach in and I turn it right side out. Poke each of those corners out. And I am ready to put my little pillow form right inside there and have the cutest little thankful pillow. Okay, so I just take my finger and poke those out just carefully there, and then put the pillow form in. And you are done. You've done another Thready box project. Too cute. Share it with some friends for Thanksgiving. Make one to take to Grandma and Grandpa's house, or one to put on the table while you're having pumpkin pie. Thank you so much for joining me, and enjoy making your pillow this year. Thanks.